Wow, do you think we live in a noisy world? Yes. Oh my gosh, if it isn't the cell phone or the computer or the television or any device, it's the opinions, it's the this, that, right, wrong, yes, no, either, or thinking that gets us going crazy and confused. And when we rise up, well, first of all, the noise that we hear, a lot of it pulls us away from our center. And that's what the noisiness is. There can be noise. I mean, if you've got the music on or something that brings out the best in you, that's one thing. But the noise is the things that really pull us off center. And to rise up in consciousness is what we're talking about today. And it's moving from the either or, right, wrong, good, bad thinking to the both and. It's bringing life together. It's finding the harmony and the peace, which Madeline, you read so beautifully. I have several of those quotes actually written down right here. So I love them. But right here in the center of our being, there is a sanctuary. It's a place where God lives, Spirit lives, the divine lives. It's the place where joy and peace and understanding and acceptance and love live. And as Maya Angelou said, we can't diminish that truth. We can cover it up with our thoughts and everything else, but we can't diminish it. It's there. We need to get in touch with it and let it rise up through our being. Let it rise up from within us. And I love this. You read what Eckhart Tolle said about we are the thinker behind our thoughts. He also said, when you realize that you are not your thoughts, we're not the thoughts, we think the thoughts, is when you begin to awaken spiritually. That's when we become real spiritual beings, when we realize that we have the control of what we are thinking, when we don't let the world push us around, but we stand strong and tall and empowered in knowing that we have the power to do good things, good thoughts, when we need to think, when we have the ability to think in possibilities instead of problems, in love instead of hate, in good instead of bad. We can think, we have that ability right here and right now. We have it in ourselves. You know, I called God this week. Well, that's not really the truth, because God is always on the line. We don't have to call God. We have to answer. So I answered the call. We have to do that in the stillness. We have to get still enough to answer the voice that's always there. And the voice is in the feeling, in the intuition, in the knowingness. It's not in the clatter of words. It's in the knowing that comes from within. Well, I did call God this week, and I translated the message she gave me. She gave me a message she wanted me to share with you. She said, you guys are too busy. You don't answer my call enough. You put me on hold, you hang up on me, you send me to voicemail, and I want you to listen. This is a crazy world, and we need each other. I need you to express my light, and you need me to put you on track, to hold you in that place where you can balance this world that is confusing. It does hold right and wrong, because that's how we label the world, that's how we know things. But I'm here for you. I'm here, and I want you to know right now that that light in you is beautiful. It's needed. You are not here by mistake. No one is here. No one is a mistake. We are here on purpose. And I want each of us to take time, each of you, to take time to listen to the still small voice, to the divine spark, whatever it is, to listen to that within you to get back on track. You know, we get confused by the noise of the world, but some of us like the noise because it's seductive, right? We can get into the noise because we have FOMO. We don't want to miss out on the latest hot gossip there is, right? The latest hot thing there is. So we get distracted by the noise of the world. We just don't want to miss out. But it can pull us off track. Some of us hide behind the noise because when we get to that place of stillness that Madeline, you talked about so beautifully, we have to face ourselves. We have to look at the shadow side of us that we all have, because we're all works in progress. We have to look at that shadow, and we have to realign it with the goodness that's there, to learn our lessons, to do our work, to retrain our thoughts in our mind so we're on track with the truth of life and not the noise. We have to be that balance that can hold it all. We need to do that. And when God speaks, and she wanted me to tell you this too. She said, when I speak, it's not confusing. It's peaceful. It's positive. I speak in a language that is affirmative. I'm not going to tell you you're creepy. I'm not going to tell you you're bad. I'm not going to do that. I will tell you things that could make you better and lighter and raise you up. In 1 Corinthians, the Apostle Paul says God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. So if you want to know if you've got God on the line, I think that says it. If your thoughts are peaceful, if your thoughts are, what if, what's possible, what could be true, how can I understand, then that's Spirit speaking through you. Otherwise, you got some work to do. We all have work to do to get in that alignment. Ernest Holmes writes a lot about confusion and how confusion in our minds is the most physiologically, psychologically disintegrating thing we can do is to have confusion in our minds. It's not good for our bodies, it's not good for our minds, it's not good for our experience. And he said, we can stop immediately. When that confusion starts, something's got to stop us. Whatever practice you have, whether it's contemplative reading, whether it's walking in nature, whether it's praying, whether it's whatever, stop. Do something to get out of that place of confusion and come to that place of peace within. We have to do it. It's really cute. There's this fellow. His name is Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, and he's the founder of the Stress Reduction Clinic. When can we go? Really? I went, wow. He also wrote the book, Wherever You Go, There You Are. You know? So we show up wherever we are. And he said, you can't stop the waves. That's part of life. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Isn't that cute? We can ride above, we can rise up. The world is confusing and it is messy. That's part of its nature. We're not, as I said last week, which is something that's really dear and near to me, we can't always dry our tears because life has grief and it has sadness and it has hardship. But we can make our tears holy because we can know that they're taking us on a path of greater understanding, of growth, of when we can see things in a new perspective. Now, the surface of this world can pull us off track, off center very easily. We need to find the things that deepen us to that place within and take us above to the bigger, greater consciousness. Now, we have the tools right now. There's no one here that doesn't have the tools to have better thoughts because we are the thinker. We have ways to connect with the greater thoughts, the things that could put us out of confusion into wonder. It's not always having the answer. It's about living in wonder and amazement, curiosity. Those things are things that can keep us alive and awake instead of squished down by confusion and problems and not understanding. The world can be heavy, but we have the power to rise up and rise above. The tools, and here's one thing that, and oh boy, we have to train ourselves, and I always get very emotional when I think of Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor, the suffering and the sadness and the man's inhumanity to man he must have seen. Yet he could rise up. He could do that. He said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So what we want to do, if we're really going to do that, rising up to a greater inclusive consciousness, rising up means we create the space. And it takes work. It takes practice. We have to train ourselves. We have to re-educate the way we think and what we do. And we have the tools. There's lots of them. But I'll just name a few right now. Number one, and this is when I talked to Martine on the way in, one of our amazing practitioners, sacred pauses. It's not that the goodness, the answer, the understanding isn't there. It's not that Spirit's not alive and awake in us. It's that we don't pause long enough to let it surface, to let it come forth. So sacred pauses, and that's taking intentional moments of silence. And one message I was giving one Sunday, I don't remember what it was because it was a while ago, but afterwards Martine comes up to me, she goes, I have a little saying we can use. It's one of those things we just pull out of our pockets. We have to pause. What was it? No, okay, I remembered it. Then we have to pause, plug in, plug into the truth, plug into the higher consciousness, pause, plug into Spirit, and then proceed. Let's say it together. Pause, plug in, proceed. Where will you plug in? What's your key? We all plug in different ways in different places, but we plug into that takes us out of the confusion into that greater knowing. Pause, plug in, proceed. The intentional pauses in our life. Spirit's always there. God's always on the line. If we can't hear her, then that's because we aren't plugged in. And the second one, and again, be still and know that I am God. Because in that stillness, in that space, in that silence is where the divine lives. Meister Eckhart said, silence is the most perfect word for God. The most perfect. It's in that silence. The second thing is conscious listening. You know, so often we're listening in order to respond to life instead of listening to understand. And so often we're listening and we're responding with fear or confusion or upset instead of listening for understanding. So we have to decide what are we tuning into? Are we tuning into wisdom, peace, acceptance? We're looking for understanding. Or are we plugging in for something else? To be right, to be heard, to be known, whatever it is, we need to really be aware of where our listening skills are. I don't know if Tom is here, but he always tells me, God gave us one mouth and two ears for a reason. We're supposed to listen more than we speak. He reminds me of that a lot. Thank you, Tom, if you're here. Rumi said, the quieter you become, the more you hear. The more we hear when we get quiet. And the other one is something that comes up all the time for all of us, is anchoring in our breath. It's about really being able to tune in, anchor in our breath, and exhale fully. I came in this morning, which I don't usually do, with a pretty bad headache. And I had two beautiful healers, thank you, come up, and both of them just opened me up. Just no words, just opened me up. Breathing and letting go fully. Letting go. And letting God be God as us. That's ours to do. Ours to do. So I'm going to give you some homework. And the homework is just to be courageous. To be different. We get into habitual living, all of us. Sometimes repetitive living feels very comfortable because we know what we're doing. but it's not going to raise up our consciousness. It's not going to get us thinking better in this world. We have to have the courage to live differently. When you live from your center, you respond instead of react. You choose instead of follow. And you create instead of freeze. We need to be thinking differently and moving so we can be the change agents. We started the morning with, go make a difference in the world. It doesn't mean you have to be doing something out there. The biggest work is in here, because who we are is contagious. Remember that fellow Dr. John, he said, wherever you go, there you are. Who we are, how we think, what we're doing has a ripple effect. We affect each other. We can make a difference. You know how you walk in a room sometimes and you suddenly feel uplifted, or you walk in a room and you go, oh, get me out of here. You know there's energy, and we want to make sure that the energy we bring is the energy that makes peace, makes creativity, makes fun, enthusiasm, wonder possible. We want to do that, so be sure we do that. So when we rise above the noise, we give others the permission to do the same, because we make the space to rise up. It says, when you do that, your calm becomes contagious, your presence becomes healing, and your clarity becomes guidance. We don't need to fix the noise. We need to just hold on to something bigger. So I thought today we'd have a little call and response time. It's really important we all embody this. Then really the world gets so noisy. We need to have peace, and we need to really emphasize the goodness that's already in us, already there, and let it out. So pause, plug in, and let's proceed with our call and response, Lois. Thank you. So I will read the call, and guess who reads the response? You guys do. So we'll do it slowly because there's a lot of words on there. That's my fault. Sorry, Kirk. But let's do that together. In the midst of the noise and distraction. Oh, that feels so good. When the world pulls us in many directions, when the chatter of fear and doubt, above the chatter of fear and doubt, anchored in spirit, grounded in grace, so we walk forward from this moment, and so it is. And will you just turn to the person next to you and give them one little word of truth, like, I see light in you, I see love in you, I see balance in you, I see peace in you. Whatever you want to say something. Just say it to each other so we can fill this room right now with good feelings, good possibilities, and the truth that exists. I see goodness in you. So my final blessing for each of us is that we have the courage to climb out of our limiting thinking. We can climb out of the noise of the world, that we can rise up and climb to that place on top of the mountain where we can see a bigger perspective, where we can get out of the noise and be clear in our mind, clear in our heart, and clear in our thought. My wish for each and every one of us is have the courage, the trust, and the faith to do just that. I say thank you for being the community together whose consciousness is going out and making the world a better, brighter, more beautiful place. Thank you, thank you, thank you.